How's everybody doing? Obviously, really proud of the way the guys fought tonight. That's a good football team over there. FAU, really good football team. Created a lot of challenges for us, but I thought we did a really good job of playing complementary football. I thought the defense stepped up when we needed it to. I thought the offense made some plays there when we needed it to. Obviously, special teams continues to improve. So we got to continue to focus on the things we need to do to get the results we want this week. We can't look too far ahead. Really good job tonight. Really proud of the players. Really proud of the coaches. Our preparation is starting to show. Things we work on in practice, the things we harp on in practice are starting to show up on the field. A lot of things to get cleaned up. Way too many penalties tonight. Again, that's the discipline part. It starts us off in 1st and 15 or gives them an opportunity to move the ball. So still some stuff to learn from. But I think, overall, I think we're starting to play really good football as a team. We just got to find a way to keep it going.
Coach, when we talk about the team's composure tonight, any other team maybe could have just packed it up, maybe got their heads down a little bit. It didn't seem like that was the case at all during any part of the adversity your team was facing.
No, we talked about it all week. This game ain't going to go perfect. They're a good football team. They're going to make some plays. We're going to make some plays. But our preparation, our process gives us the ability to sustain in games like this. So I thought, we talked about it at halftime. Pregame, we talked about it before we went out. We said there's going to be a flow of emotions. Extremely high at the beginning of the game. Obviously, a lot of these guys know these guys, went to school with these guys. They're a good football team, well coached. There's going to be a stream of emotions. But somewhere in the middle of the first half, I said that those emotions are going to flatten out and execution is going to become the ultimate deciding factor. And I just reminded them that at halftime. I said, the emotion is going to flatten out and execution is going to become the deciding factor. We got to play a lot more discipline. I think, if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot with some penalties there, we probably are able to put a few more points on the board. But defense came up with some big stops when we needed it to. Special teams came up with some big plays. Offense came up with the plays when we needed it. So really proud of the guys, really proud.
Coach, when we talked earlier this week, you mentioned the emphasis on the defense coming out of the locker room at halftime and playing well. And that was certainly the case tonight. Really clamped down, bowed up in the third and fourth quarters. Just what did you see out of them, especially later on in the game, that made them so successful this evening?
Yeah, I thought our process kicked in. We work our guys hard for the fourth quarter. Defensively, they pride themselves in third quarter shutouts and coming out and making adjustments and making a good stand. And then in the fourth quarter, I told them, I said, hey, look, we're going to have to win this thing as a team. We have to find a way. I think our red zone defense has continued to be good. Early in the game, we got a couple of field goals there instead of touchdowns that ultimately probably made a huge impact on the back end. Defense is starting to settle in. We are finding ways to play good complementary football, and it starts with defense. If you're going to be able to win down the stretch, I think you got to be sound on defense and you got to be able to continue to create plays on offense.
Coach, we talked to Willie Johnson earlier this week, and you could tell he was kind of amped up for this game. Obviously, had a bunch of friends and family down here. To see a kid like that perform as well as he did in this type of environment, what does that mean to you? And obviously, if you can comment on his punt return that really sort of turned the course of the game late in the second quarter there.
Yeah, well, one, I love the kid, man. Since I've got here, the kid's changed completely from what he's been in the past. He's working harder. He's playing through injury. He's out there coaching guys. And he had obviously he got banged up last week in the game, little shoulder bruise or whatever. But, in the past, he may have sat out all week and just showed up, but he came right back out Monday, full go. And I brought him in Friday and I told him, I said, you've had a phenomenal week of practice. I said, the ball is going to find you. All you got to do now is execute. And I thought phenomenal job by him on a couple plays, Grant, with some really good throws. I told the guys on Friday, and I'm not Nostradamus or anything, but I told them, I said, special teams is going to be the deciding factor in this game. I said, Willie's going to spring one. And I said, it's going to come down to guys finishing their blocks. They got a really good punter. We had to do a really good job holding up, winning our one-on-ones. We did that and turned into be a huge punt return, flip field position. I don't know what happened off of that. Did we score or whatever? But really flip field position, really flipped the momentum and gave us an opportunity to move the ball in the red zone. So really good. Happy for Willie. When you buy into the process, the good things happen. And that's what this team is doing. They're buying into the process. We're not perfect. We got a long way to go. But I think we're buying into the things that we need to do to be successful each week. So I can't tell you how proud I am of this entire team. Appio goes down there and downs the ball inside the 1. See, nobody writes about that, but that was a huge play. Made them have to go 99. It's gonna be tough to go 99 on our defense, and we play with the right consistency. So all of those little plays, man, they add up. So really happy for the guys. Got a challenge next week. Got to build off of it.
Coach, I know
from a
you spoke. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead, Bubba.
Coach, I was going to ask, you mentioned that downing of the ball on the 1 yard line. They got a little bit of momentum going on that drive. Then Corey McCoy with the big play. I don't know what your view of it was, but we could see on the replay, he came from behind and just like tomahawk punched that thing out of there. It seems like he's had a knack for making the big plays. Just what did you see out of him tonight, and how important was that play as you guys kind of tried to quell their momentum?
Yeah, well, we start every practice with turnover circuit. And one of the drills in that 5-minute period is called circle chase. And exactly what he did was exactly what that drill is. So again, you're taking your preparation. And I know when I first got here, they were like, man, well, we do these drills every day. And now they're like, Coach, we got to make sure we do circle chase. We got to make sure we do midline. We got to make sure we do all those turnover drills because they show up. And again, Corey is a guy who has come in with the right mindset, right attitude, and has really just made a lot of really good plays by just doing his job, man. It helps when you have other guys around him that can communicate, but his consistency over the last couple of weeks has been phenomenal. And that was a huge play because they were driving right there. And that's going to happen. I told the defense, guys, they're going to make some plays, man. They're a good football team. But we got to make more. And I think tonight we did a really good job, and that was a huge play by Corey.
Coach, when you look at, Grant, his first offensive possession ends in a turnover inside the 10-yard line. Last year, that might have, or even earlier this season, that might have stayed with him and gotten him down a little bit. He came right back and really had a really nice game for y'all tonight.
Yeah, and I told him after he threw it, I said, keep throwing it. And keep throwing it. That's because that's what we're going to have to do. We knew we would have to be patient with the run game based on how good they were up front. And I told him, keep throwing it. And what happened? A couple guys made some really big plays, probably had some drops in there that kind of made it a little bit more cloudy of a statistical point of view. But he's our guy. I mean, it's going to happen. I think the Chiefs all the Chiefs fans are probably great at fire Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, it happens. And is it okay? No. Let me make sure everybody understands that it is not okay to turn the ball over. But you're not going to get crucified in my program, for making a mistake. We bounce back. We find a way to make up for a mistake by playing consistent football that's just doing your job. We got to do a better job with our discipline because that puts us in a little tough situation. You go 1st and 15. Well, at some point, you're probably going to have to throw it, so putting a little bit more pressure on him. But I thought, like you said, Grant, I thought he bounced back. I thought he read the defense well. He had good communication coming off the field, what they were trying to do. So really proud of him. He continues to get better, each week, just kind of chipping away at it, finding ways to continue to get better. He made some really good throws there in the end. Probably could have threw it at the end a little more, but I felt our defense was playing well. So let's just run it. Hey, we don't get the first down. Let's punt it away. We do reserve the right to punt. We got to find a way to kind of get some of those first downs. But again, against a tough run defense, it's going to happen. Now we got to find a way, but we knew it was going to happen. I went to the defense and told them, hey, look, we're going to do what we can to get some time off the clock, but you're going to need to stop.
Coach, I know throughout this year you talked about emotional conditioning. The guys had a very tough first quarter. They had the kickoff return. FAU comes back. They get points on the board. The FAU kind of was getting a little rolling in the first quarter. Talk about just how far this team's come with the emotional conditioning aspect, because that first quarter was just off and on.
Yeah, it's called two-spot. We do it in the spring. We do it in the summer. And when they're about to pass out from the reps that they get, I always remind them that it's going to show up at some point. We work really hard, and part of our preparation is the conditioning. And then I think, again, not to say that it's all, but I think, again, in the beginning of the game, I reminded them of the emotional wave that was going to happen. So when it did happen, it was easier to come back and say, hey, guys, remember, we talked about this. A lot of these guys are really doing everything they can to have success and really create value for themselves and play as a team. When you're in your hometown, we sent all our senior guys from Florida out as captains, for this game, as an honorary, hey, thank you for your, being here, coming, making this decision. You're going to have a lot of emotions in it. And the closer you get, the farther you get in your season, emotions are going to run high. We just got to be able to control them. Emotions are not bad. Plain emotional is bad. So we just got to make sure we control it.
Coach, I know we've talked about the different ways that Rasheen can be dangerous and that he makes plays for you guys, but it seemed like tonight he was especially good in the passing game. You guys were really successful getting the ball to him through the air, and he was able to make something happen with it. Just how well-rounded is this guy, man? It seems like he does everything pretty well.
He hasn't even scratched the surface. That's how good he can be. And that's not a knock. I mean, he's doing a phenomenal job. But I mean, the sky's the limit. You know, we got to make sure we get him to the point to where he can keep his body in shape and take care of his body so that he can play, you know, down the stretch. But I mean, the kid we talked about in the summer, I think he's a draft pick, and that's not just looking ahead to the NFL. When I say a draft pick, I mean, I think he's special. You don't get drafted if you're average. And I think he's special. He's still got a long way to go, though. I mean, he's got a lot he can learn. He got a lot he can get better at, but that's the positive. You know, I talked about comparing him to Saquon Barkley when he first came in. It's just kind of being a whiteboard and, you know, needing everything to be written on it. And he's still got a lot of space on that board. Really proud of him, really proud of the coaches that are coaching him. Really proud of his humbleness to be coached. Because, you know, I mean, it could be easy to kind of get the big head, right? You know, you're a freshman, you're leading all this, and he's not. You know, he's how can I be better? You know, how can I do this better? You know, what do I need to work on? He practices harder than, you know, probably anybody on the team. He finishes every run in the end zone. And those type of things pay off, man. They pay off.
On the other side of that equation too, it seemed like on a couple of occasions, Grant saw that matchup and saw that he was going to be one-on-one and in the face of pressure, held the ball an extra half second to give him that extra step on a couple of those big pass plays too.
Yeah, you know, we did a really good job preparing for what they did in certain situations. And those are the things that you don't really see from the quarterback, right? You know, how he prepares, he knows what the coverage is going to be on this drive or this scenario in the game. He goes through his progressions, finds his open receiver. We reserve the right to check it down. I tell him that all the time, you know, check it down, let those guys go to work for you. He's building confidence in those guys. They're building confidence in him. Really proud of the way these guys are growing. That's probably the biggest thing. Just proud of the way the guys are growing. Did we start the season the way everybody wants? No, but we're growing. We're growing. They're buying in. They're getting the reward for hard work. Now we just got to continue to work and get better.
Anything else?
Good.
Oh, sir. Thank you,
We're
Coach.
good.
Awesome. I appreciate you
Thank you,
guys,
Coach.
man. Thank you guys for covering us.
Coach.
I know it's your job, but it's also respected and appreciated. So thank you guys for what you do. Go
Thank
Herd.
you, Coach.